the Lounge with Travefy Academy, where we get to hear from travel industry voices and experts to learn more about their story and also what they see on the horizon for travel professionals. And I'm Stephanie Grice, and our guest today is Michael Savage, who is president of Travel Industry Marketing Association. So welcome to the Lounge, Michael, and thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me, Stephanie. How are you today?
Yeah. Yes, I'm good. This is exciting. And I feel like it's been a while since I've recorded, been about a month since I've recorded a podcast. So I'm super excited. And we have a new studio. So for you watching this on YouTube, you'll see. So it's a big day. So we're excited to have you here. And I'm really, really excited for our conversation today. Just, talking about lead acquisition. And the travel industry is doing some crazy. We knew this was going to happen. And now it's just the demand is insane and it's really cool. So this will be a very timely conversation. But before we talk about, lead acquisition and all that good stuff, can you first just tell us how you got into the travel industry and really just how Travel Industry Marketing Association came to be?
Yeah, no, absolutely, Stephanie. So I've been in travel for a little over 10 years now. I started after school and, travel was always super important to me as I grew up and loved traveling the world and experiencing different cultures. And so I knew I wanted a job in the industry. So I worked at American Airlines for about 9 years, where my last role, I was head of American Airlines Vacation, American Airlines tour operator. And so got to really experience and work a lot directly with travel advisors and became really passionate about helping travel advisors grow their business. And so when the opportunity came for me to join Colleen Strimbo, the CEO at TIMA, I just jumped at it because it was really allowed me to continue, being able to support the community in a way that I think is just so fascinating and unique in today's world, right? When I think about travel advisors and some of the challenges that they have, one of the ones I always hear is, how do I grow my network of people that I can sell to, right? A lot of advisors get started in the industry selling to friends, selling to family, maybe to their church groups, maybe to their fire department, whatever it is, right? And then they have a hard time making that next step though, right? Of going and selling to kind of new clients outside of just normal referrals. And so what we've developed at TIMA is really a full service marketing box that allows us to, provide website design, be able to provide social media presence and social media management, and then also do a lot towards lead generation, which really helps advisors take their business to that next level, which is just like, as a small business owner myself, something that I take a lot of passion in, of being able to help others grow their business.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what are you seeing right now and what has the past year looked like? Because I'm just curious during like really the height of the pandemic and everything, what was kind of the main focus for marketing?
Yeah, so I spent a majority of the pandemic still at American Airlines Vacation, which was super fascinating, right? Because we got to see what was going on from the air standpoint. We got to see where the demand was for different types of hotels. And so, I really see the kind of turning point of the pandemic in terms of where you had the kind of move out of that early adopter stage, right? And move into kind of the kind of early minority, if you will, right? Starting around March of 2021, with a lot of demand to places like Mexico, the Caribbean, a lot of all-inclusives, right? Because people wanted to be able to stay in the comfort of one resort. Also a ton of demand for national parks, right? America's a beautiful country, and I think it gave a lot of people the opportunity to go experience things that maybe weren't on their radar before. Where we stand today, though, it's a little bit different because we're so close to, I think, if we're not going to say the end of the pandemic, close to a place where we have a sense of normality about what it means to live and travel during it, right? And so now you see demand for everything, right? The cruises are back in a big way. Some of our team members were on a cruise in Europe, a river cruise in Europe last week, and they just had the best time. beach destinations are still super, super popular, but people are really starting to think about, where is the travel that they have kind of foregone over the last 18 or 20 months, right? And so, like, to your point, the demand is just incredible out there right now. And so I think the question for a lot of advisors that they should be asking is, how do I get my share or the biggest piece of the pie that I can of that demand, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking too, is just the demand is exploding now. And what can advisors do right now that, help in like, and it is lead acquisition, but they're also so busy right now. But how can you find that middle ground of you're helping get all these people who are have been ready to travel, but also still acquire those new leads?
Yeah, and I think that's a really interesting question. So there's a couple things advisors can do today that we really strongly recommend. Stuff TIMA can help you with as well. But social media presence is huge, right? Like, you should be having your own Facebook business page if you don't already. Building out groups of the types of specialty niches that you want to go sell, right? Making sure that all of your documents on your website, your personal and business websites, are up to date, right? And you bring up a really great point in terms of, people are so busy right now that it can be hard to focus on bringing in new business because you're so focused on servicing business that you already have. And I think that's where there's this really unique opportunity for advisors who are positioned to do it, right? Because a lot of people think of a lead as just this kind of transactional resource, right? I get the lead, I sell to them, done, right? And that's not really the case though in travel, right? We see that it's 70 to 75% easier to sell to someone who's already an existing customer, who's already been able to see the amazing services that a travel advisor provides to them. And so, I know it can be easy, or a lot of times you may want to focus on, your existing book of business. But because of that demand, on top of everything, right? People really struggled during the pandemic, particularly the early stages of it, with getting refunds, with getting, their future travel credits processed, of dealing with suppliers, and they just don't want that hassle. Or if they're dipping their toes back into the water, they just don't want to have to experience that, and they are looking for that advice of it. So if you are a travel advisor who is positioned in a way that they can go out and seek new leads, right? You have this unique opportunity of all these potential clients of yours who maybe for the last 10 years, they booked everything on Expedia, right? That is brand new blue sky market for you, and an incredible opportunity for you to build your business.
Yeah, it is. It's such a good time. It's crazy. And we knew this would happen too, with the really bad comes a really great. And so that's what's really happening. And what are some examples, would you say, are things that advisors have done or that you've seen advisors do really well that just seems to work really good?
Yeah, so engagement's huge, right? If you are going out, as I said, like building your own group pages, right? Getting your clients there. If you see your clients posting in there, you got to be liking it. You got to be loving it. You got to be commenting on it, right? Getting that user generated content developed is so, so important in today's world, right? Because that leads both authenticity to the product that you're selling, but it also leads to kind of a validation that you are an expert in this space and that you've helped support other people who are, happy to have had the opportunity to use your services, right? Those social proof points, are so, so much more powerful than just blasting a lot of advertisement. The advertisements have value for sure, right? But if you want to be able to grow it organically, getting out there, being regularly engaged with your group members, with your clients, right? Super, super important. The other thing I think is really critical is making sure that you're touching base with your clients on a regular cadence, right? Whether that's bi-weekly, whether that's monthly, right? You want to make sure that you're present with them kind of throughout their consideration set, right? Maybe that means a newsletter, right? Maybe that means a kind of thought through email drip sequence, right? Where you're reaching out to your client throughout the consideration set, right? When a lot of times clients are looking to make a purchase of $5,000 or a $10,000 trip, it can take them 90 to 180 days from the time that they decide that they want to make, that they want to go somewhere or they want to take, let's say, an African safari to the actual close of that sale. And so if you're not regularly out there with a cadence of communication, whether that's through email, through social media, right, you're potentially missing those opportunities to cultivate and develop your client's interest in it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's just keeping top of mind and not letting anyone fall through the cracks. And so when doing that, what are some ways that advisors can do that? Is it using certain email tools to build out those, or, is there certain way? I'm just trying to think of what could they do, to do that, to make those steps.
Yeah, and it's super hard. It's a great point, Stephanie, right? I find most travel advisors are really great at selling travel, right? That they're passionate about it. That passion comes through when they do it. They're super knowledgeable. In today's world, though, to be a good marketer, it's really tough, right? I also see some travel advisors who are really great marketers, and maybe they're not as good at selling. So maybe you're thinking about a partnership, right? But if you're out there in the world looking at, okay, how can I up my marketing game as a travel advisor? MailChimp is a great service. Constant Contact is a great service. TIMA also offers automated email services. So that way, if you want to have a newsletter run out to your client list on a bi-weekly basis, we have the services to provide for that. Same thing with email drip sequences. On the social media side, again, really thinking about where are your clients, or the people most likely to be your client, where are they interacting, right? You hear a lot of people talk about Twitter, right? Oh, should I have a Twitter account or that? Like 90% of the Twitter users are now overseas, right? Like that platform has really migrated to be a much more international presence. Whereas if you think about Facebook, right? I want to say something like 65, 70% of people check Facebook like as they roll out of bed, right? And that demographic is also going to skew towards people who are more positioned to be both the decision makers and the purse string holders in terms of being able to make that transaction, right? So again, kind of navigating all that space, there's a ton of resources out there. Then you can also choose other people, other service companies like TIMA to help out with that as well.
Yeah, that's true. We are talking to the person who can really help with this. Is perfect. And so on that, because that's all so good. And I think it's just a really important reminder to everybody that, it's just as equally, you're selling a lot right now, but it's also equally as important to keep your marketing presence consistent and thoughtful. But we kind of focus on, the lead side, but is there any other side of that people should be thinking about right now, and also just into the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, so, I think one of the challenges that you could see in the next 6 to 12 months, right? And you see this in other industries, you see this a little bit with the supply chain issues that the country's having overall, right? You have this big surge of demand. And I think there's a fair question to ask. Is that demand going to kind of come back and then just plateau off? Or do you actually kind of live in this world where it goes up and the up is an extreme, and then when you get to kind of the valley of it, the valley is actually lower than where it was before, and then it's going to come back, right? And so that's why it's really important, like right now specifically, right? I know it's really tough for a lot of advisors. Like it's the best problem to have, to be this busy with this many bookings and this many clients traveling, right? But you need to kind of prepare for the worst as well, which is the real possibility that after we hit the peak, that there is a bit of a valley, right? And that you're well positioned with, you know, your current clients, right? Because marketing doesn't have to cost anything, right? Like it's just your time and effort to, you know, go figure out MailChimp, go figure out Constant Contact to build maybe some of your suppliers' promotions into a newsletter. All of that stuff you can do today with either time or paying someone to help you out with it, right? But it's really important that you're kind of deliberately and consciously making those choices, right? For not just your clients, but for your own business, right? So that way you're prepared for if there is a drop off in travel, like Lord forbid, if there is like another variant or whatever, right? Like I hope we never have to talk about that again.
I know.
But
I know.
yeah, but really making sure that you're well positioned with a marketing presence, with a good social media presence, with a good website presence. So that way, if you do want to grow your business, there's some opportunities. One of the things we're really excited about at TIMA is actually some of the partnerships that we have with the supplier levels, because to me, there are some really, really great suppliers out there who are, you know, just as invested in their own business as they are in the success of the travel advisors that they work with. And so we've been doing some partnerships with, I don't want to name them because, but some really great partnerships where these suppliers working through TIMA will actually fund some of the lead programs that we're doing and fund some of the automation. So if cost is the concern, you know, talk to us. We have a great schedule an appointment button with one of our really great BDMs that we're always happy to have a conversation and talk to you about how you can grow your marketing presence and, you know, really kind of set yourself apart from others in the industry.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And like we keep saying, I mean, it is such a huge time opportunity. And that's really, I mean, that was a lot of really great stuff. And that's really all that I had. But I want to make sure though, that is there anything that we didn't touch on that you want to bring up or anything for the near future?
No, I think it's great, Stephanie. I'll do a quick plug and say, you know, TIMA does offer a free membership that gets you access to some really great tools. And then if you see something else, like I said, we're always happy to talk to travel advisors about how we can help grow their marketing presence. And, you know, really appreciate the time, Stephanie.
Yeah. And before you go, so I didn't tell you this. So we do rapid fire questions just to get to know you a little. It's like, oh no, they're really fun. All travel related, all really fun, but we'll go through them quick and then we'll wrap up. But then we'll let you go.
All right.
But okay. And if you need to skip any of them, you can just let me know. Okay. But this is always, it's my favorite part. Okay. First question. What is your favorite travel movie?
Travel movie. Wow,
I stumped him on the first one.
That's embarrassing.
I'm excited.
I love Euro Trip. I loved that movie when I was a college kid. And I did some backpacking when I was in my early 20s, and it kind of inspired a lot of that. And so, yeah, that's super embarrassing. Awesome. Thanks, Stephanie.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, everybody, did you hear it? No, that's great. We haven't had that answer, and I like that. It is good. It's embarrassing, but it's good. You know, another question here. This probably won't be as embarrassing, but maybe we'll see. What is your favorite destination you've traveled to?
That one I can South Korea. So
nice, awesome.
I had opportunity. I lived there for 4 years and just loved it, and met my wife there, and so I love going back. And yeah,
that's awesome. That's really cool. And so a little reverse side to that is, what do you think is the most underrated destination to visit?
Estonia. I love Estonia. You can spend 2 or 3 days there if you're in Helsinki. It's a really quick ferry ride, and it's just this tiny little country, like 600,000 people, and just so much culture and history and heritage, all in just like the town center of Tallinn, and the countryside's beautiful. really, really great destination.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to do a little Googling of that because I mean, I've heard of Estonia, but I actually really have never heard of people traveling there. So that's a good one. I like that. That's really good.
Just maybe not wintertime.
Yeah, not wintertime. Yeah, that's a good call. Good call on that. Might get stuck there or something. What is the best meal you've had while traveling?
So crab fried rice in Bangkok.
Wow, that sounds really good. I like that. Okay, two more. See, we're zipping through these ones. You got this. What is the last great book or article you read? And it doesn't have to be travel related too. If it's like marketing or business related, that works too.
Yeah. There's been a few good ones lately. Goodness. Should not. Let me take a pass on this one.
No worries. Okay, this is the last one. Personally, my favorite one is, what is the craziest thing that's ever happened to you while traveling?
I got slapped with a fish in Russia while in the backseat of a taxi.
Wait, why? What's the story behind?
I still don't know to this day. So we were coming back from a visit to like a mud pit in the countryside in rural Russia, and there was like a wedding, and people came up to the car, and they just slapped me with a fish. Didn't hurt. It was fine, but.
Oh my gosh, maybe it means good luck or something. They're like,
I've asked and I've never gotten an answer. So.
Oh my gosh. If anybody listening to this has an answer, please write into us.
I'd love it. Yeah. Yeah. My email is michael@tima.travel. Tell me, please.
Yes. I really hope you get a response. You'll have to let me know. No, that's awesome. And those are all the questions. So we just always love to wrap it up on just learn a little bit more about you. But I just want to thank you so much again for this. This is really good. I think it's just really helpful to just have the reminder of, marketing, always so important. And if you're not good at marketing or you don't know where to start, there's people to help, like Michael and TIMA. So that's really the great thing about it too. And again, a very timely episode we're seeing it. It's crazy. It's awesome. And on today's episode, I should explain that this is when international travel started opening back up on November 8th. So very exciting. But just want to thank everyone again for tuning into this episode of the Lounge with Travefy Academy. And thank you so much again to our special guest, Michael, for joining us today. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast or subscribe to our YouTube channel for all the latest episodes. We hope you enjoyed our conversation today and join us again. But for now, stay safe and we'll catch you on the next flight.